Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Amy. I'd like to welcome you and thank you for joining me for today's webinar um, for independent and community living. I was born with spina bifida and scoliosis. I was raised in a Christian home where I was encouraged to explore my interests and to become independent. I graduated from high school in 2005. I went on to study early childhood care and education in college. I'm a volunteer with the Heart of Georgia Transition Alliance. My past work experiences include receptionist and secretarial work. I am currently working as a PR assistant for my local Baptist Association office. My hobbies and interests include spending time with friends and family, reading, taking trips, blogging and computer technology, and photography. Get involved in your community. Are you interested in sports? Then I would encourage you to try out for your favorite sport at your school. Or if you can go look in your community and see if you have a recreation department and become involved with them. Other community you can also become in community organizations. If your community has a group that you're passionate about that focuses on things that you're passionate about, then find out if they have meetings and attend a meeting to find out about that group. Like, for example, I'm a member of the Heart of Georgia Transition Alliance, where we are working to make transition more smooth for disabled individuals after they graduate from high school. You can also get involved in a local faith-based community through doing things such as attending Sunday school classes, regular services, study groups, and ministry opportunities. Become a volunteer. In my experience, one of the best ways to get involved with volunteering is word of mouth. Share your interests, strengths, and weaknesses with your friends, family, teachers, coaches, and they can help you look for businesses and organizations who accept volunteers. Don't let anyone look down on you because you're young or disabled, but set an example in everything you say and the way you conduct yourself through all the challenges of being a disabled person. And that comes from an article that I wrote called The Stares of Strangers. Becoming independent. Ways I have become independent: spending time with friends and family, both near home and far away. I've also become employed. I've learned to do things for myself at home and become an active member in our home. At home, I have had to learn how to properly organize. What did it take for me to become independent? I had to learn to properly clean and organize medical equipment multiple times a day. I've had to learn to cook my own meals during the day using a coffee pot, microwave, and toaster oven. As I grew up, I've learned to climb on and off furniture as my way of getting around at home. Away from home, I've had to learn how to calculate what and how much medical supplies I would need, but based on where I was going and how long I was going to be gone. Before before the first overnight trip with any friends, I teach them about my disability and my daily routine and how to deal with problems that could arise. I have learned to transfer in and out of most vehicles. However, my wheelchair has to be taken apart in many smaller vehicles, so I've had to teach friends and family how to take the chair apart and put it back together. I've also had to, in some cases, teach them how to maneuver getting me in and out themselves because I was unable to transfer myself from my chair to the vehicle seat because of the vehicle was maybe larger and the height difference was just not compatible. Both away from home and both at home and far away, I've also had to master dressing and regular self-cleaning and bathing care. If you would like to look back at some of these tips in the future to help for your own benefit and hopes for greater independence, I would encourage you to look at the handout that I sent you today, that you were sent today, called Tips for Becoming Independent. 1, learn about your disability. Number 2, learn how to properly clean and organize your medical equipment. 3, learn to figure out what and how much medical supplies you will need to take with you while you're away from home based on where you're going and how long you will be gone. Before the first overnight trip with any friends, teach them about your disability and daily medical routines and how to deal with any problems that could arise. Learn to safely prepare your own meals every once in a while. Learn how to physically move around your home and in your community, whether that be through crawling, pulling up, using a wheelchair, etc. Learn how to safely transfer in and out of vehicles. Before traveling, learn about taking apart and reassembling your wheelchair or any other equipment so that you can teach friends and family how to take apart and put it back together. Note, this is a list of suggestions based on my personal experiences. We are all created uniquely, so everything on this list may not apply to you. Keys to my journey to employment were patience, perseverance, and prayer. After I graduated from college, I took a year off to recharge myself before pursuing a job. Once I began pursuing work, I updated my resume and I sent my references to every potential preschool employer I'd heard of. I ended up being faced with many closed doors. This process of sending my resume, references, etc. to employers lasted for about a year before I didn't give up, but I decided to take a break from chasing after everything that I could think of. Then in the fall of 2011, one of my cousins made arrangements for she and I to attend a faith-based event for college students as my birthday present from her. We had a great time, and after we got back home, I wrote about the whole experience in my journal. Once I completed writing that journal entry, I decided to share my thoughts with her, and I sent it to her via email. She wrote me back and said she loved what I had shared and asked for permission to share it on her blog. I wrote her back and told her she could definitely share it. We spent the next hour or so talking via email, and by the end of the conversation, she told me that that I should really start a blog myself. So I took the plunge, and I started using blogspot.com. As I learned more over time, I ended up not liking some of the features on Blogspot, so I switched to WordPress.com. Let me stop and say that everything I've learned to do on blogs and a lot of other computer-related technology, whether it be the Facebook pages, like where I work, or with photo editing, has all been self-taught. It was through that experience with her that I began to consider stepping outside the boundaries of my college degree and to explore other things. Fast forward to more recently, I became a member of the Heart of Georgia Transition Alliance and have been given the opportunity to grow in my knowledge of how to create and maintain blog websites, Facebook pages, etc. Thanks to word of mouth, I was given the opportunity about my abilities. I was given the opportunity to, through a friend, to have a wonderful job opportunity to come open at my local Baptist Association office, where I was able to use both my computer technology skills and my love for photography to run their Facebook page. I chose to share this story with you because I want to challenge you to also consider going outside the box of your college major and to find a job that you love where you can use your talents you've been given. Through one of my college classes, I learned how to create all the necessary documents for applying for a job. For applying for a job, declining from a job, and how to resign or declining a offered position, how to resign from a current job. I've also created I have created a job seekers toolkit that you have all been sent. The kit has a variety of documents to assist you with finding a job. The toolkit includes examples of a brief description of each of the following. A cover letter. A cover letter is a document attached to the top of your resume. Effective cover letters should explain your reasons for being interested in a specific organization, business, or letter. The letter should include detailed information about your interests, abilities, and any other work experience you've had. Resume. A resume gives an employer a brief look at your education, work experience, volunteer experience, honors, and certificates. Skills and references. I'd like to remind you that if there's any section on the resume, on these resume samples that are in your packet that do not apply to you, say you didn't have any specific honors or certificates that you wanted to mention, then you would not include that part in your resume. Job references. Your list of references is a type of is typed on its own page. Typically, you'll need to have 3 people who know you well and know your background as an employee. These people could also be directors, groups you volunteered with, co-workers, college professors, instructors, college academic advisor. Things to remember, though, are never list someone with that as a reference without asking their permission first, and also never ask a relative to be a reference for you as well. Questions you may be asked during an interview. This is a list of questions that most employers ask candidates during an interview. I recommend asking someone to do a practice interview with you, which I have done that as well, and that's very helpful. That way you can become comfortable with your questions. Questions you may want to ask the employer at the end. These are questions that you may want to ask the employer once they have finished asking all their questions. Wait for them to say, "Do you have any questions for me?" That opens the door for you to ask them questions. One question you never want to ask unless they have offered the position to you is asking about how much you would get paid. Leave that alone until they offer you the position. A thank you letter. A thank you letter should be sent to an employer within 48 hours of the interview. That way, I believe a typed letter should be sent in the mail. That would be, in my opinion, the most professional thing to do. However, a thank you note via email is okay as well. Regrets letter. A regrets letter should be used when you need to inform an employer that you will not be accepting the offered position. When turning down an offered position, you need to send a regrets letter as soon as possible so that they can begin searching for another candidate. Letter of resignation. You should send a letter of resignation to your employer 2 weeks prior to when you plan to quit working for them. Your letter should be brief and positive. Do not mention any issues you have with your current place of employment. Then, thank them for the opportunity to work for them and offer assistance during the transition while they look for another employer. And also during an interview, do not speak ill or wrongly of your former employer if they ask any questions in regards to where you might have worked in the past. Resources that you can find for future use are Parent to Parent of Georgia. You can look for them at http://www.parenttoparentofgeorgia.org. Also the Heart of Georgia Transition Alliance blog. You can also come visit my personal blog, which is amyvanessathoughts.wordpress.com. The Steers and Strangers article by Amy Pileggi, which you have been sent. The Job Seekers Toolkit by Amy Pileggi, by myself also, that you've been sent. If you have any questions for me, please feel free to contact me by way of my email, which is now on your screen, which is Amy_Pileggi@yahoo.com, or my blog, AmyVanessaThoughts@wordpress.com. Um, and finally, I want to leave you with a quote I once heard from David Ring. Some people think I have a disability. I don't. I have a platform to tell my story. So I want to challenge you to use your disability as a platform to tell your story and to explore your interests and to think outside the bounds of your college degree.
Thank you, Amy. I appreciate the hard work. Amy, can you change your slide to where it shows the last slide there, because it's not displaying there? Then they can see that while we have the question and answers. At this time, if you have any questions you'd like to ask Amy in conjunction with her topic for today, I will be happy to give the questions to her. I'm not seeing any questions. You did an excellent job of presenting the information, Amy. I'm very proud of you on this. If there are no questions, I think it would be time then, Amy, that you may close out your presentation.
Okay. It has been my pleasure to speak to you today about independent and community living. Parent of Georgia has asked me to let you know that you may contact them for additional assistance, information, and resources and your family may need. You can go to their website at www.p2pga.org or call them at 1-800-229-2038. Please complete and submit the webinar evaluation survey you will receive after my presentation. If you have any questions regarding the content of my presentation, please do not hesitate to contact me directly. Please write down my contact information, which is currently on your screen, displayed on your screen. If you would like to watch this webinar again or share it with a friend, you will be able to access it in the future on the P2P website under Archived Webinars. Thank you again for attending my presentation.